Assalamu alaikum, dear learners and viewers. I hope you are keeping very fine during this corona pandemic. Welcome to my English class. Topic of discussion today is how to make WH questions. The presentation is designed for the classes of HSC Business Management BM curriculum, degree, pass course, honors, non-credit. Don't be afraid of the answers, be afraid of not asking the questions. So to speak, never feel frightened of making questions and making answers. So learn how to make questions and how to make answers. WH questions usually the words which begin with WH to make questions are known as WH questions. WH words belong to interrogative pronoun, interrogative adjective, and interrogative adverb. Who is usually used instead of personal subject. What instead of things, both for subject and object. Where instead of a place. Why is used instead of a reason or purpose. When is used in place of time. How instead of a process. Which instead of a choice. Important notes. Making questions is answers. Remember, to make questions is known as answers. Our questions are our answers. Select the words or items instead of which WH questions can easily be used. Different questions may be made for a sentence. We can use different WH questions for a sentence, but choose only one item or word or words instead of which we can easily use WH questions. Avoid using WH questions in place of pronoun, subject or object as far as possible. Use second persons instead of first persons and vice versa. Instead of first persons, use second persons. Think of keeping tense unchanged. We cannot change the form of tense to make WH questions. Never forget putting note of interrogation at the end. It is very compulsory to use note of interrogation, question mark at the end of the sentence. Otherwise, we may not be awarded any mark. To make WS questions, we should have a knowledge about these auxiliary verbs. These verbs: verb to be, verb to have, verb to do, and modals. If such verbs are not found while making WS questions in place of other words except subject, use do when principal verb is in base form. That is, if the verb is in simple present or present indefinite, use do. In the case of present indefinite tense, if we find the verb s or es added, then use does. And if does is used, s or es must be omitted. If the verb is in past indefinite, then use did. Then we have to make the principal verb base or present form. Structures to make WH questions. Normally we have to follow two rules, two structures to make WH questions. First one, if we want to make WH questions in place of the subject, then this structure must be followed. We have to use WH instead of subject, and other parts of the sentence will remain unchanged, and we have to put note of interrogation at the end of the sentence. WH plus verb plus extensions plus note of interrogation. If we wanna make WH questions instead of subject, the subject may be personal or impersonal. Okay. If we want to use WH questions in place of other items or words except subject, then we have to follow this structure. That is to say, the interrogative sentence will begin with WH, then auxiliary verb according to tense, then subject, then other verbs, and then extensions and note of interrogation. Remember, if we want to follow the structure 2, then auxiliary or auxiliary related verbs must come before the subject. And to use WH questions, we must avoid using the word or words instead of which WH questions can be made. Here in the example, Sam is going to Florida. Okay, and we have tried here to make WH questions instead of the place to Florida. And here we have used where, because Florida is a place. Instead of a place, we have to use where. Where is Sammy going? Think here we have used WS questions instead of a place, not of a subject. So subject remains unchanged. And if we have subject in interrogative sentence, then auxiliary or auxiliary related verb must come before the subject. Here, not here, is has come before the subject. Where is Sammy going? Okay. And another important note, to is also omitted because to is here used only for Florida, as we have to omit Florida, so Florida goes away and to must go away. Yeah, the man broke the window. Here in the example, we have used WH question instead of the object, not the subject. The window, a thing. So what is used? The verb is in past indefinite, so you have to use did, and the principal verb must be in simple form, simple present, that is base form. Okay, answer is, what did the man break? If we wanna make WS questions instead of the subject, just put WS instead of the man. The man here is a person, so use who, and other parts will remain unchanged. So the answer will be, who broke the window? Okay, and we must put note of interrogation at the end of the sentence. Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. Here Shakespeare is a subject, personal subject, and who will be used here if we want to make WS questions instead of Shakespeare. Okay, Hamlet is a writing, is a drama written by Shakespeare. So it's a thing, object. So what will be used? And wrote is a verb, and the verb is in simple past indefinite. If we want to make WS questions instead of Shakespeare, then we have to use who, and the answer goes to who wrote Hamlet. As already told, if we want to make WS questions instead of subject, usually other parts will remain unchanged. So wrote Hamlet here remain unchanged, and we have used WS, that is who, instead of subject Shakespeare. And if we want to make WS questions instead of the object, that is Hamlet, then the answer will be, what did Shakespeare write? Note here the verb is in past indefinite, so we have to take did as an auxiliary verb, and the auxiliary verb must come before the subject Shakespeare. So the answer goes to, what did Shakespeare write? We need only one answer of a sentence. We need only one answer, remember. The WH questions words generally used are, there are 6 WH questions words. Each one expresses a specific notion or answer which is specified in the question. Those words are what, where, when, why, who, and which. Generally used WH words. How much is used instead of a quantity, an amount, or price. Examples: I have 2 hours before I go. 2 hours. How much time do you have? How many instead of number or quantity, countable. There are 32 students. Then instead of 32, how many is used? How many students are there? Whom is usually used instead of personal object. I saw the players. Yeah, players, personal object. So whom is used? Whom did you see? Did, why? Because the verb is in past indefinite. So we have to use did, and the principal verb must be in base form. Whose instead of possession. This pen is mine, or this is my pen. Here mine or my indicates possession. So whose is used. Whose pen is this? How long expresses duration of practice, lapse of time. Think. Uh, the example is, it has been raining for 2 hours. Then for 2 hours, how long is used? How long has it been raining? How often expresses the frequency of a given action. I play tennis every Friday. Then every Friday, how often is used? How often do you play tennis? What time expresses time on the clock. It's 4 o'clock now. What time is it now? How old expresses the age of an object, person, or thing. This dress is 2 years old. 2 years. So, how old is used? How old is this dress? Thank you, dear learners and viewers. Stay at home, stay safe, and stay connected. Allah Hafiz.